What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We've got an awesome guest here with us today, but before we get on into it, let me get the easy stuff out of the way. As always, if you like what you heard, you like what you're hearing, and you think you're going to like what you're going to hear next, hit the follow button, like, subscribe. I gave up. I'm never going to figure out where it is on camera, so just push all the buttons, follow me everywhere. It's definitely been a lot of fun so far. And now, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Peteyboy, a.k.a. Smoochie James, a.k.a. Playoff Pete, and I'm here.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, like where you're from, what you do, just give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Yeah, so I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. Moved out of there when I was like 3. Moved around a little bit every 5 years. Then moved back for high school, and then that's when I started falling in love with music, really. I mean, I've always listened to music and loved it and stuff like that, but when I moved back to Indiana is when I really got involved more in like the writing side of it and the hip-hop side of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you always been a vocalist, or do you play any instruments?
When I first started, I didn't really want to be the vocalist. I just wanted to be like, I don't know, behind the scenes, like producer, label executive type. But then I got involved in like a spoken word program to like keep the youth off the streets type thing.
Gotcha.
And fell in love with poetry and spoken word and writing. And from there just was, decided to do my own thing with music and rapping. Because at the time I was listening to all like the East Coast stuff, Jay-Z, DMX, like the whole Rockefeller branch of hip hop and stuff. So I just got into being lyrical and just like showing off like what you can do with a pen and just like clever lines and punchlines and stuff like that. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much always been a lyricist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, this is a question we ask early on, and it's definitely a viewer favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Oh my God. I was like 12, and it was Lil Bow Wow's Beware of Dog. Like,
Okay.
Yeah. So I started, that's what I'm saying is like, I had like the weirdest intro to hip hop because like growing up, I always listened to like R&B, pop, soul, rock and stuff like that. Just like old school music because my parents were older. I was a baby. So, they had the old funk and soul on all the time. So I really didn't listen to rap too much. My sister had all that rap albums. She had The Chronic. She had a couple other. She had all the Tupac albums. She was a huge Tupac fan, so it was around. I just wasn't listening to it until I turned 12, and I was like, "Oh, cool, Lil Bow Wow, this is great. Somebody young like me rapping, blah blah blah." That was the first one I bought with my money.
I mean, that's a solid first choice.
I'm
sure it's more people's first choices than they'll ever admit. You know what I mean?
I'm just the first to admit it. I'll admit that I was listening to Lil Bow Wow.
Thanks for being the first. Now, go ahead and tell us about the first show you ever went to, or the first one you chose to go to.
Let's see. It might have been maybe, I don't know how long. The first one I can remember really is probably a Wiz Khalifa concert. We had like an outdoor venue in Indiana, in Indianapolis, where it just turned into a big smoke fest. So they were chilled on the Wiz shows, at least. But yeah, I think either Wiz or Lil Wayne and T-Pain were on tour.
Okay.
And, that's the one I'm remembering the most, having like the biggest,
Oh man, I'm jealous now.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I bet that was during like the peak too.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was. It was. They were like T Wayne or whatever it was. Yeah.
Oh, yep. I remember that specifically too.
Bro, that was the first one that pops out of my head that I'm like, that was a freaking show right there. But yeah. My mom always made me go to like performative things, but they weren't like rap shows or like music that I was listening to.
Yeah. So. Now, do you have like a definitive moment where you feel like you decided you wanted to do kind of music as like a full-on thing?
Yeah, I guess it was probably when I was getting like love from people around me, like friends and stuff. They're like, "Damn, you're good. Like you should write more. You should that verse was crazy. Like keep going, like stuff like that." So I guess when you have like the green light from other people, like peers and stuff, you're like they kind of push you on, egg you on to do stuff. So yeah.
I mean, hey, that's a defining moment for sure.
Yeah.
The support of others is always a clear indicator that you're probably moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And then probably just when I could like make how I'm feeling sound tight, like
Gotcha.
to myself. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess kind of self-approval was later after people were egging you on. Cause then like still you're just like, y'all gassing me up.
Yeah,
You're,
exactly.
You're just being, you're just being a friend. Thanks
Yeah,
for
exactly.
not telling me my verse is whack. But strangers telling me, and then just me like approving to myself, like, dang, this is tight. And I feel good about this myself. And like, so they always used to make fun of me because I would I would ride around town listening to myself. But it was just like, because I would make the music that I wanted to hear. You know what I mean? So I kind of stepped outside of it being me. I was just like, yeah, it's cool stuff. So.
Yeah.
And if no one's going to listen to it, I will. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect.
So,
oh man, I forget who I was watching the other. Somebody said something along the lines so that they were like, I make this music for me.
Yeah.
But because I'm doing it for me and I'm trying so hard, like I feel confident that I'm putting out good stuff because I'm my biggest critic.
Exactly.
And that just, that kind of hits home in a certain way for sure.
For sure. Because like, I don't know. I throw away verses all the time.
Oh,
I scrap songs all the time, and I'm just like, I'm sure there's a section of people that would like this, but I'm like, I wouldn't feel right putting it out.
Yeah, like I think as artists, we all get the opportunity to kind of shape our presentation. You know what I mean? It's not, I wouldn't even say it's like, falsifying or like altering. It's just you get to choose how you present your music because it's your music to present.
Independent artists.
Exactly. So being able to do that, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like doing something by choice if it's like a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in my old band, shout out Smooth Talk, we had two different types of songs. There were songs, and then there were storyline songs where we just kind of kept telling the progression of time for these like imaginary characters that we came up with.
Okay.
And over time, we were going to kind of siphon those ones off and eventually make like a new collection of things.
Yeah.
But it was just, we didn't have to.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
Yeah.
It was just
fun.
like, we had the idea and we were like, does this seem like a cool concept?
Yeah.
It does seem like a cool concept. All right, let's do it.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's just, there was nothing to be had from it other than it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. In the beginning, it started out being fun, doing shows, even if it was for 5 people, 10 people, if it was just for your friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, it was fun. I feel like now it's less of that. It's more like you got to be more strategic about it. It's less like from the heart what feels right. You know what I mean?
I think
at least for me. Sorry.
I think in the beginning the movements are always movements that are just made with passion, and then at a certain point you have to add practicality in.
Yeah.
Only
I
because
think other people add it in for you because they're like, because you're kind of like, you don't want to say you're doing it for other people, but then at the same time, kind of how they see you is where you're at.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
and it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time.
I'm terrible at it because I'm one hand I'm like, I don't care what anybody thinks, whatever. I'm put out this song, whatever, and then the next I'm like watching some podcast.
You want people to like it. Like,
they're
there's
telling
nothing
you
wrong
that you
with
gotta
that.
do this, that, and the third, and 50 reels a week or something like that. And it's like that's not fun. I just want to make music. You know what I mean?
It's there's a conflicting dialogue all over the internet about that. Like, look at I reference, shout out Kato. I reference Kato on the track all the time just because like he does have like a direct message about how like you don't need the things, you can do this, you can do that, follow your direction, but he does it through the things. So you're just like,
exactly.
Like I get it, like I hear what you're saying, Kato, but like
you're also doing it.
Like you reach success right before this new underwave happens. So there's something happening now. And while I agree with him on pretty much everything he says, and I think that his mentality is true, and he's just just a strong presence. Just in general, he's done so many things for so many artists. Like there unfortunately is an importance, and the only way to break away from that is to like make that your message almost. You have to be like, this is me not doing the internet.
Yeah.
And
I kind of try to play the game, but say that I hate that I'm doing this, but I'm doing it.
I think now, for if people don't want to do as much social media wise, I think all they have to do is continue to let their platform know that they exist as regular people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we try to like mask the day-to-day parts of our lives or overshare the day-to-day parts. You know what I mean?
It's a fine line.
Like, I think that if you're just like, hey, this is like, look, like I'm doing a fun thing.
Yeah.
And if you post something of doing the fun thing and then nothing after it, then it must have been fun because you couldn't even like, you couldn't even take your you couldn't even take your hands out to do stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that when people see things like that, the human part of our brain still reacts to it and goes, man, it must have been fun.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's a good way to like let people know that you have to exist off the internet.
Yeah.
Mark Ribley does a kind of a good job about it because he's like very like, hello everybody, I'm here, I'm doing things, I'm talking to you, because he's so personal. But like the other day he like had a moment, he was like, guys, I can't do this today.
Yeah.
Like I need to go take care of my star player. And that's what he did. And I'm sure he didn't lose anybody because of that. You know what I mean? Just so I think if you're a prominent force and you let people know that you also want to live your life.
Yeah, and that you're human just like them.
Exactly. And it creates a level of relatability that I think as long as you can continue to maintain that as you move upwards, it will make people always feel a little more related.
Yeah.
And that's, never a bad thing.
Ever.
Never a bad thing.
Yeah, that's how you build fan bases and how you just build, solid relationships.
Exactly. So. All right, but let's get back on track with this, shall we?
For sure.
Now we're going to kind of dive into more of the like you, the musician. We kind of have your foundation, and we're going to start off with the most important one. How'd you choose your name?
Well, Petey came from like my sister. One day I was like real young. She just was like, "You look like a Pete. Like you could be a Pete." And so from then on, that went, and my family called me that. So then when I moved back to Indiana when I was like 14, my family was already calling me Petey. So then they introducing me to people and like, "Oh, it's my cousin Petey. It's my cousin Petey." So I just stuck with that. And then I added in, like when I first started rapping, embarrassing. I'm gonna tell all the embarrassing stuff because rappers don't like to do that. They're like, "Oh, I gotta look a certain way." So I used to listen to Jody Breeze, who was an artist from Boys in the Hood, Atlanta, during like early 2000s. But he had a certain ad lib where he Jody Breeze, and so then like mine was Petey boy. So I kept the boy on there, but I always think about changing it and dropping it. But yeah, now I'm building like my an artist profile with like a Smoochie James thing with like just more chill stuff. Because like I do have a love for rap, but like my first love, like I said, was R&B and pop music and like songwriting songs and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get back into that bag a little bit.
Now, do you mind if I ask why the choice of a second branding and not just introducing your current listening base to that sound?
I wanted to create like a character, like you were saying, that you can take that character into different realms, into different situations and stuff like that. That's away from like the
image that you've already set with the first one.
Yeah, with just like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I have like an image, but
not image, presentation.
Yeah, presentation.
That's the word I was looking for.
Present myself as a rapper, not like a R&B artist, but I do have that in me. You know what I mean? So just a separate way to add a character and add a story that's away from my own that I can like step into whenever I want to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, that's exciting. So, do you have much up under that name yet? Do you have anything up?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
So it's a work in progress.
We'll have to get a Smoochie James back on the Jambox when that officially happens.
For sure. I have some little previews of me stepping into that vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On my Black Flower EP was when I first started like also producing my own music. Before I would always look to other producers around the city and stuff like that, or either like the YouTubes or the Sound Clicks websites and stuff like that. So once I got tired of all that run around, I was just like, I'm just start making my own stuff.
Yeah.
Because who to better form a sound than you.
Exactly.
So yeah, the Black Flower EP is when I first started to like step into the producer / songwriter bag. So that's what I'm introducing, sprinkling Smoochie James on that one right there.
Okay. Okay. Now, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your writing process? Do you have like a place or approach, or like certain people you work with? How do you go about like the foundation of creating music?
I really start out with like listening for samples. So I'm always looking and listening to weird, abstract stuff.
Yep.
Just trying to find, something that doesn't sound like everything that's out. You know what I mean? So I start with that first. And if I can find like the right loop, I just like loop it. And that's when I start writing off the loop. Because, you can add drums and, produce around the track. But like I want to get in the pocket of the beat or like the actual like sample or melody or harmony that's going on. So I just like start rapping, just writing down lines. I'm a pacer, so like shout out Indiana, but I like to listen to the beat and walk around and like mutter things to myself.
Oh, there's walking trails all through my apartment. I'm the same way.
So yeah, I'm just like brainstorming, walking back and forth. I'm always up in steps on my Fitbit because like when I listen into a beat, I'm just walking back and forth, pacing, like just mind wandering. So I used to write pen and pad, but now I'm more in my notes on my phone. Yeah. So I'm just pacing back and forth, typing different things. I'll type anything that I'm thinking and then like go through and edit later on like what's tight and what's not and what I can form into a line and like what I can make happen. And then I'll go in and like add the drums and stuff. So
gotcha. Okay, so you usually start sample first, lyric second, beat first or beat third?
Yeah, beat third.
Interesting.
Because then you can add the drums around anything. Because like normally, if you go into the studio and you got the beat already, like the engineer might, make some mixes and like do a double time here and there. So it's like that part gets done last anyway. So
see, I was always I was always the opposite. I always have to start beat first. Like that's when it comes to building music because I don't do words. Like that's like the one that like I can hear all of the instruments, I can hear vocal melodies, but when it comes to actual like words as like a style, like I'm like, oh, let me think of like these 30 things to say in this 2 sentences, and it never works, right?
I most times have writer's block, so. Once I get flowing, and it doesn't take long though. Once like the wheels start turning, you can like crank out a few lines and stuff. But the first two lines and the last 2 lines are like the most important to me.
That's fair.
So I'm working on those first in the writing scheme, and then I'll fill in there. Because if you have like the segue into the hook, then everything else is kind of taken care of. And then obviously you need like a catch. So like the first 2 lines, like you got to say something tight, or something that like catches people.
Now, what are your thoughts on producer tags? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I try to put so many producer tags. I love the producer tags. I'm half a producer, so
yeah. There's some of them are fun.
Yeah,
so, like,
I like it.
The ones that like stick in your head. You're like, yeah.
Mine's pretty cool. It's from an interview with a coach who was talking about like they were a losing season with the Colts, and like the reporter was like, "You guys worried about the playoffs?" And then he's like, "Playoffs?" Like so, my producer tag has to do with that. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Producer tags, I don't mind them. Like
I was just having fun.
Do people not like producer tags?
No,
like,
I was like walking past I was doing some filming 2 days ago for something come out for the show that'll already have come out by the time this comes out. But I was just walking past a group of the dudes and they were like in a conversation about that, and I was just like, this okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is
You gotta give
happening.
the producer credit. That's a whole thing too, is that people don't give producers credit and stuff.
It's true. I think,
Just give everyone the credit, but it comes down to like what percentage of the song,
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Well, it's like when we grew up, there was never a track that didn't have the artist shouting out the producer.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have producer tags, or like they would, but they would be like small in the beginning. But the artist always like incorporated their name into what they were saying. Like they called out the beat itself. They like called out a situation where they were together. Like they always acknowledge. I mean, look at like, when Lil Wayne was with Manny Fresh.
Yeah.
Like
Go DJ.
Exactly. Gave him a whole song. He was just like, not only am I going to shout you out in every track, I'm going to give you a track that's about you.
Yeah.
Like that, that was just the thing back in the day. And I think part of that came from the fact that you couldn't send stuff back and forth. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to work with somebody, you had to go, you had to go to them. Yeah. Like you had to work with that. They were in the room.
Go to the
y'all felt the energy. Yeah. Like if you
I would like that as well. It just gets hard.
No, it's easy to not do now. Like it's easy to send stuff out. But I think the energy that comes from being in the room.
Yeah. But then it's a 50-50 with me, because then I have like anxieties about meeting up with people, especially like when I don't know them and stuff like that. I've accidentally like, flicked on some people, and I was just like, I don't know if I should be taking my, all my equipment, to a situation I don't, know this person, but like they're good people. So it's just like my own insecurities, and I'm,
so. It's a big part. I mean, I have people coming through here all the time. So it's definitely something I think about as well.
Yeah.
But, I think that at least in music, there's that saving grace that like, y'all are musicians, you know what I mean? Like, so I always hope, like, I know that there's no perfect anything in the world, but like, at least for this kind of stuff, I always trust that like the person I'm interacting with is somebody who is sharing a passion. Yeah.
And like sees the hard work that I'm doing. So
exactly.
But that,
that, like, social media exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll find you.
I'm just like, I'm curious, like, do they put pictures of their stuff online? Are they like chatty people? Like, if everybody's comments are like, oh man, you're the worst thing ever, you're so mean. I'm like, oh man, maybe they're mean. Like, maybe they're misunderstood. I don't know. But like,
yeah.
So, like there's at least like ways that you can like kind of know somebody before you know somebody now.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, collaborating with somebody is such a like abstract choice, especially if you don't know them ahead of time.
Yeah. Do you have water here?
Oh, we'll be right back, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, we're back, everybody. Let's go ahead and get right back on into it. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about... Oh, this is a fun one, actually. I'm going to set this up a little different. Out of your entire discography, what is the song that you think represents you best as an artist right now?
Let's see. Trying to go through my discography. I would say Smoke About It.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about that track?
I get a little personal in there. I'm real reflective in my music, internally. It's on a Red Eye Romance, off of the Red Eye Romance EP.
Okay.
I like to drop EPs mainly because like I don't want to like put too much on one plate. So
gotcha.
I dish out 5-6 songs at a time. But yeah, that song, it's just real personal to me, and that's kind of like also how I, relieve stress too. It's like when something's going wrong, it's like, all right, I'm gonna smoke about it. Take time to contemplate. Give myself some room to feel whatever I'm feeling, and then think about it logically. So yeah, I just do that. I just smoke about it. Smoke about everything, positive, negative,
I got
celebratory.
And I've checked out a few of your tracks now. I always try to like listen and get the sound ahead of time, and I really like your approach. I think it kind of like it sits in this like almost like reflective place a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and that really stands out.
Always reflective.
Yeah,
like I'm writing in front of a mirror.
A lot of times. That's a cool way of putting it.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Writing in front of a mirror.
You got that on video. Nice.
Yeah.
So. All right, now. This is kind of a heady question. So feel free to interpret it however you would like. But as an artist, do you feel that your either trying to push the envelope, or do you just have like no interest in that? Or if you do, like, what are you doing to like push the envelope for your style?
I feel like with the reflection, the honesty, positive or negative in my music, kind of pushes the envelope of, because I talk about my mental health and just about like losing important people in my life, and just how I feel day to day. Last year I was in like an accident with a semi, and it was like life reflecting. So I try to take a little bit more, try to pay a little bit more attention to like life. So like you were saying, to go outside, take pictures of stuff. I'm real bad at it, at posting it.
Yeah.
Like I have a ton of pictures of like shit that I do, because like Oregon is beautiful. Like, so I try to go outside and play. That's like a thing I do I just like go outside and play and like be in the wilderness, do some fun shit, do some shit you've never done before. I just lost my whole train of thought.
No, you're good.
But yeah, no, I forgot.
No, we were asking like, what do you do to push the envelope?
Oh yeah. So yeah, just reflecting and being more personal. And as far as like trying to do a lot of things myself, as far as producing, songwriting, rapping and singing, and then, you know, trying to mix my own music as well. I think that's pretty, you know, everybody does that, but where I stand out is like, I don't know, it was just a place of love. I'm not releasing music to like try to make money, because I'm not. You know what I mean? So
I got you. Telling your story.
Yeah, just like, I don't know. I just want people to relate to what I'm saying.
No, totally.
So I'm not sure how it's pushing the envelope. I'm kind of like, I'm an individual, so I hope people gravitate to that story, to my individual story. But like, you know, a lot of artists are doing everything, because you kind of have to, as an independent artist. You have to like wear your own hats. Like you were saying, you edit things, you like make flyers, like you're doing so much. You wear a bunch of different hats. So I just want people to feel like my love for the music in my music.
Yeah, I think that there's such a split on like people like being like, oh, you should produce all of your own music entirely. Oh, you shouldn't produce all of your own music entirely.
You should collab with people more.
Yeah, you should collaborate. You should let this person master. Like, there's so many like, and none of them are wrong. Like, for me,
that's frustrating.
I can't work on an entire song myself, because I box myself into the thought process too much. I hear one sound and I fixate on it, and then I try to build everything around the one sound instead of like remembering like the total sounds exist. Yeah. So like somewhere along the way, I have to let go, or like it just becomes another, you know, track by Jimmy kind of thing. Like it's not. I never feel like it's the same. But when it comes to like setting the foundation for a track, I can't. It's hard for me to have somebody in that part, like the first like 25 seconds of a song, or like the first like 25 seconds of sound that will become a many-minute song. Yeah, it's all like I always had to be like, all right, I'm just gonna make this like this tiny progression with all these things, and then I can have somebody expand it. That was always my approach, but I think that
teamwork makes,
exactly. Yeah, but I think that there are some people who they see it along the way, and they see their vision so well. Like, you know, especially like I feel like vocalists have this thing where they can kind of hear, you know, the music melody so strongly. And I think that for the people who take the time to like figure out how to bring that out of them as well, it's a different entity for sure. It's really powerful in its own way.
Yeah, for sure. I believe that. Like there's just something about teamwork, about having the collaborative spirit of like multiple people working on a track and being proud of it.
Yes.
So I don't have that at the moment. Like it's just me. I don't really like have a team, or, you know what I mean? So you know, it gets kind of hard, especially trying to like branch out, make new friends in a new place. You know.
Well, how long have you been here for?
Like 3 years. Going on 3 years. So, and then the first two we were here was, you know, COVID and wildfires and stuff like that. So like people are kind of just starting to get outside and not be afraid of people and groups of people so much. So so it's kind of difficult.
Understandable. Well, why don't we talk about a time where there was a bunch of people? Tell us about either your most favorite live show that you performed, or if you just have too many because favorite's tough. Tell us about like the wildest show, like either where shit just went completely off the rails, or like just everything was just over the top.
Well, my shows don't get like that. I try to have like chill shows and stuff like that, mainly because I'm like focused on like the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about breath control, so I'm probably not jumping around too much. If I'm singing too, I'm also probably not jumping around too much. But my shows don't get too crazy at all. I just remember like, back in Indy, just people just showing love. I had an album release party for Red Eye Romance, and it was about 75, 80 people there. Just like I was playing with a band. It's just like a great moment where people were just really vibing with what I had going on. So it felt really good and it felt really accomplished. There was a lot going on with that project, just like trying to get it mixed, trying to get the beats cleared and stuff like that, because at that time I wasn't producing my own stuff, which kind of put me into the produce your own stuff now. So it was a lot of like loopholes for that one, but I'm happy with how it came out. And yeah, just like that was a great moment, was the release party, because I had it at a venue that I was working at, so it just felt like home. You know what I mean? Like I worked at this venue. I had my friends there. I had family show up. I had people that like normally really wouldn't step out for shows and like to come to the live shows. They came out and just to support, and it was like all love. So I appreciate everybody that came out to that release show.
Hell yeah.
And that was also before like shit got crazy outside. So
well, so there's something about a release show that just hits a little bit different. You know what I mean?
There were flyers. It was just like a good time. We were smoking weed on a balcony. Like, I don't know. It was super tight.
Nah, I totally
had on a fur coat.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, that's all you had to say.
Faux fur. Yeah. But it didn't last long, because under those lights, like you got to take that off first song. Or else you're like sweating.
They're still thick, even if they're not real.
Yeah. So it was like I dressed up and just kind of like made it a whole thing. And I just like kind of made everything worth it.
That's awesome.
Like when you have moments and shows like that. So shout out to the hometown.
Hell yeah. All right, now let's dive into some hypothetical questions.
Cool.
If you could work with any one artist or member of a group or band that's currently alive.
Okay.
And again, if it's a group of people, you got to pick one. Who would it be?
Damn. If I could work with one artist that's alive, who would it be? I think her music. I don't know if you her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I would work with her. Like, she's a phenomenal artist from like the writing standpoint, from the instrumental standpoint. Like,
her music's incredible.
Yeah. So like, I think I wouldn't feel worthy working with her, but that's something like that would be crazy to just like help songwrite something with her. So
I mean, she is a powerful entity for sure.
For sure.
Now, subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you just haven't connected with yet, but you would like to work with?
A friend of the show, Lord Lawrence.
Shout out Lord Lawrence.
And as well as Julian Outlaw, who's a rap artist here. I think Soul Luna.
Okay.
I think could do like some super tight stuff. Artful Dodger. Yeah, I think there's a lot of artists here who are like really fire, and take pride in their craft, and it's like good to see. And it's good to see a community, get behind them as well.
No, totally. Well, if anybody that watches the show knows them, go ahead and put them onto this episode. Let's make it happen.
Put me on.
Now, this is kind of like a big picture question.
Yeah.
If you could play at any one place for a show, like it doesn't have to be like a venue that's established, like anywhere on the planet, and you could have two supporting acts.
Okay.
That are also currently alive. We're going to stick to the here and now of it all. But if you could perform anywhere and like logistics weren't an issue, so power, crowd safety, all that stuff was sorted out.
Okay.
And two supporting acts, who would it be and where would it be?
I would perform in Maui, Hawaii, mainly because I just went there and it was beautiful, life-changing experience. and my supporting acts. I don't know why, but Drake would be supporting me, and Lil Wayne.
Okay.
I'd have Drake and Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Supporting me, and then I wouldn't even come out. I wouldn't even come out for my performance. I'm just like, y'all don't need anything else.
You know, you can open your own show. Nobody's gonna yell at you about it.
Facts. Yeah.
But also, I think it'd be kind of a flex to be like, yeah, I headlined for Drake.
Yeah, but I didn't do anything. Yeah. It was like, he performed, and then, him and Lil Wayne have a set, and then they're like, all right, y'all ready for Peteyboy? And they're like, yeah. All right, well, he's gone, but enjoy the show. Yeah, I think those two would put on a timeless show. They have so many hits. So,
do you have anywhere specific in Hawaii?
No, every place was beautiful. I don't know. Yeah, just on the beach, just like those old MTV jams, spring break sessions.
Those were classic.
Yeah, and just like, I don't know, them running through hits.
Well, now
and turning up.
We're about that time of the year. I think we'll, if anybody knows them, who watches the show, definitely let them know. Let both of us know for sure.
Yeah.
All right, now this one's kind of like the last of the hypotheticals, and it's kind of a heady one as well.
Cool.
If you had to pick a different genre of music to perform, other than anything you've already performed thus far, and you would be equally as competent in it, what would you pick?
I feel like that's easy. That would be like R&B.
No, but
away from that.
Yeah, I was saying
cool.
like one you haven't performed before.
Probably like country. I feel like I could write a country song, a slow one or a party one.
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of similarities in the content of country music and some hip hop and rap.
That's not the first time that's been the go-to alternate. So that makes sense.
So maybe a rock song, because like I would love to like a metal song.
Okay.
Like I would like to go hard one time.
All right. Well, there may be a couple of those that listen to the show as well. For sure. So there you go.
Do some like I don't know, just like do some raps over some like crazy guitar riffs and drums.
No, totally.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go ahead and get on into just kind of the wrap up. Let's talk about what do you have coming up in the future? Let's say like early July.
Early July?
Yeah.
I'll be releasing a single or two here soon. Have a project, Air the House Out, that I'll be dropping very soon. I've been working on it, getting it mixed and ready to put out. And that's what I got coming up. Looking for people to shoot videos and stuff like that, looking to branch out and network and meet some people. So anybody out there who, wants to collab, hit me up. I'm not hard to find. I'm easy to work with. Right?
Hell yeah.
Right? Pretty easy.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Actually, why don't you look at the camera for this next one and tell people how they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Sir_Pete the second. First profile was taken. I don't know. But yeah, you can find me there on Twitter, Spotify. I'm on all the digital streaming platforms under Peteyboy, no space. Yeah, and just, shout me out.
Hell yeah. Now, any other shout outs, any plugs, anybody you want to put on while you're on here?
Shout out to anybody who's ever supported or listened, gave me a play, gave my music a chance, come out to a show, tried to put me on, because there's like a lot of artists that are influential to me moving here and having, the comfort to, release music and do shows and stuff like that. So shout out to those people. I won't get into the list because you always leave somebody out. There's no way to have, unless you have it written down, and I don't. So shout out to everybody who's supporting me. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my sister. Shout out to my lovely girlfriend and my brothers, sisters, everybody. So
hell yeah. Now, before we go, we've got one final question. This is definitely a crowd favorite.
Yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure song?
I just listened to it. It was fucking, I think his name's Gautier or something like that. Now You're Just Somebody That I Used to Know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that song. I listened to it like twice while we were stuck in traffic.
Okay. I mean, so, definitely a classic.
Yeah. I play it more than I probably should.
Dude, it's catchy. I don't care who you are. Once it gets in there,
yeah, it's
in. You're just like,
you can't listen to it one time.
Bum, 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 bum.
You can't not bop to it. So.
I just did that for y'all. Now it's stuck in your head.
Yeah, so just go play it.
Yep, there you go. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm gonna look over here real quick. Thank you all for watching. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. Make sure to push all the buttons. We've done this before. And y'all follow me on all things. We got new stuff coming out all the time. I'm sure y'all saw some of the Monday episodes. I think the Seattle episodes have dropped by this. Maybe not. Don't quote me on that. Schedules are hard. But before we go, would you like to perform one of your songs?
Yeah, why not?
All right, bet. We'll be right back, y'all.
Cool.
All right. Oh. All right. Let's go ahead and get back into it. We got Peteyboy here dropping a verse.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Appreciate you having me on the show. Drop some bars off for you real quick. Gotta let the beat build a little bit. Gotta feel it a little bit. Yeah. Let's go. Nobody asked me how I'm coping. I've been going through the motions. I've been trying hard to try to keep my focus, dog. My family dodged the devil 2 times, but he spun the block a 3rd time. Caught my cousin sloping, got the call, I swear my heart was broken. Bunzarelli said it best, bitch, you know I'm smoking. How I'm running through these trees, I should probably grow it. Float longer than Zendaya, feeling quite euphoric. It can't be nitties, other rappers think I'm flamophobic. Sick of being broke, need a bag or a cash, yeah. Lot of hungry nights, dog, the beats was a snack. If you talking about a pen, everything I drop's a frag. I've been trying to find my drive for the shit since the crash. I don't wanna close my eyes cause I saw my light flash. If it ain't about $1, I'ma probably have to pass. I am on a paper route like I took a dog class. If it ain't about the cash, then you gotta know.
Woo!
Yeah. Cool, a little light something. Yeah. That was fun.
Hell yeah, man. That was awesome.
Appreciate it.
That was awesome. All right, y'all. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Peteyboy, a.k.a. Smoochie James, a.k.a. Playoff Pete, a.k.a. The Guy.
Yes, sir. And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
Peace.